All right, friends, we back with another video on JasonBlaha strength and fitness, man. Yeah, man. Who? Individual body structure impacts perfect form. Okay, let's review this video. Perfect form, huh?
Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I thought I would sit down and do a video for you guys and gals. Get a sip of my Fruitopia.
You did. Now he's drinking Fruitopia. Pure sugar.
And I feel like we need to have a discussion about things with form. This is kind of prompted because some people have chimed in, they don't like my bicep curls. You know, here's the funny thing. I've told people historically that we should probably do full range of motion, which means the bar goes up to your face. I quit doing that for just a little while, and then everyone screamed that I was doing half reps. But I'm like, but I'm coming up to here, like, you know, I was doing that by keeping my arms down. Now I go over to the way I've told people you should probably.
Does it really matter if you're doing full or whatever range, man? You're just building these phony muscles, bro. And actually, he's not even building those phony muscles because it's based on glycogen. Man, sarcoplasmic is based on glycogen loading. Do you need to focus? Here's the thing. Does it really matter any of these range of motions that you're doing? If you were to get damaged muscle fibers, you need to focus on food. Protein synthesis needs to exceed this breakdown or you get an apoptosis. Now, as far as this glycogen loading, this sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, what he's doing, because he's an endurance athlete, he's a chronic lifter. So you need to focus on glycogen. The more glycogen you eat, the easier it is to build these phony muscles. So it isn't based on repetition. Now, if you're not eating a lot of glycogen and you do high volume, then definitely you'll draw every last bit of that glycogen. You're trying to draw it into the muscle. Look, for every 1 gram of glycogen, 3 grams of water are drawn between the skin and the muscle into the muscle. See what I mean?
Do it. I go all the way down at the bottom. I lock my elbows, come up to my face, right? But with the wrist back, so that we get all the functions of the bicep. A lot of people don't know that, right? They're not.
He's getting all the functions of the biceps to do what? He's already good at doing all these exercises. You're good. You're a factory worker. You practiced at lifting these boxes, your body adapted, and you're good at doing them. And then what now? You do them forever? You keep doing them and doing them and doing them? Did you ever build your natural strength, Blaha? Show us your natural strength. Show us your natural strength. How much natural strength, how much natural muscle did you build so you could increase your natural strength? Show it to us. Prove to us that you built muscle and you built some natural strength through myofibular growth. Oh, you can't? You can't. So you spend 30 years in a garage lifting, getting these fucking phony adaptations, myocytic androgen receptor strength, and fucking glycogen muscles. You never built any myofibular growth. God, that is just horrible. I can imagine how he feels every time I make these videos. Like he must feel like an idiot. You know that? You know, once you bust people's belief, what they believe in, they just go nuts. Some people commit suicide.
Where that elbow flexion is not the
elbow flexion. Let me tell you, he's eating a lot of fruits and vegetables. They have oxalates in them. They produce something called oxalic acid and oxalic crystals. These crystals, they form in the joints. That's why you say, I've got tendinitis. That isn't tendinitis. What that is oxalate crystals forming in there. They're nasty. People get problems in their knees because of oxalitic crystals. And what do? They go have a phony surgery for it. I could tell you that oxalates bind to calcium and a bunch of other, 2 other metals, like magnesium or calcium. So it's a good idea if you are drinking, if you have milk, even if it is putrid, you should drink some milk to try to get the crystals, the oxalate crystals, to bind to the calcium and flush out of your system. Remember, they're not filtered out of your system. They leave through the eyes, the skin. That's why people have all these problems. They have all these skin problems and this and that. I could tell you that oxalates are a type of poison. So you're just poisoning yourself because plants are toxic. They're poison, man. You understand me? That's how they defend themselves from being eaten in nature.
Only function of the bicep. That's the primary function in one of the heads. That's
And yes, they can show up in your muscle fibers. They can show up in your muscles, these oxalate crystals, and then they can weaken you. They can fuck you up. They can cause these I don't know, these small tears in there. It's you could say it's a very bad sign. Definitely, I could tell you more things. It's not important, but it's very bad. That's all. Yeah, definitely. As you get older, it's a build up over time. It's building up over time. So you definitely want to stay away from fruits and vegetables and these processed foods.
really all it does. But you have another head, right? Not here. This one handles just flexion outside. This also is involved.
I'll explain this too. If you are going to a dentist, if you have to go to a dentist and you have problems with your teeth, you are weak. If your teeth are unhealthy, you are unhealthy. I could explain this. When the people were let's say during the slave trade, they were checking people, these slaves. The first thing they would check were their teeth. Teeth is a sign of health. If you have poor teeth structure, you're unhealthy. You're a weak person. You're weak, unhealthy. You're not good for working. You're very bad for working, especially labor jobs. That's why people have problems with labor jobs. They're very unhealthy, especially when it comes to their teeth. So if you're going to a dentist constantly, you have to go to a dentist. I don't go to a dentist. But if you have to go to a dentist, you're unhealthy. You have poor teeth structure, poor everything. That's a problem with North American people. They're all seeing dentists because they have poor health. I'm not joking, man.
Shoulder extension. So that if you want to fully stimulate the bicep, you should probably consider doing that. Doesn't mean you need to do it on every exercise you possibly do, no. But it'd be a good idea to do so. Again, if you want to work the full range of motion of the muscle.
I can tell you this, that full range of the motion of the muscle for the bicep, it's really the eccentric that you have to focus on. It's the eccentric movement that causes the damage to a muscle in muscle damage. If you are damaging muscles, which none of you are, the majority of people, I'd say 95% out there are not. Now, if you wanna get the phony muscles like he is, the sarcoplasmic muscles, then focus on eating a lot of, I would subscribe potatoes. They're the best type of complex carbohydrate. They don't spike your insulin. They kind of make you anabolic, you could say. Yes, I don't know. Man, this anabolic thing, bro. If you're not damaging muscles, what's the point? Okay. It'll draw more of this glycogen into the muscle, okay? And they'll get nice and pumped.
You know, and you'll get people who are like, well, you do this wrong with it. But it's so interesting because no one thinks about the fact that we all have individual anatomies. For example, people are like, you're flaring your elbows. I'm like, how can I not?
We do, but we also have two types of hypertrophy. We have sarcoplasmic and we have myofibrillar. Which one are you doing, sir?
Right? Now, I'm sitting forward and down right here, but when I stand up, it's always like that.
Does he look big to you? Does he look massive? Look, I would never know that he lifted a weight. I'm telling you the truth. If you were to see Blaha walking down the street, you would never know that he lifts a weight. Look at him. He looks so old. He's so aged. Look at his arms. Look at his neck, his face, his head. His body looks aged. 40, what is he? He just turned 47. I'm practically 57. And believe me, I don't look aged like him because I'm not a chronic lifter. I'm a very, very, very periodic lifter. So I take years off. Years, man. And sometimes I come back months at a time to lift. I'm not a chronic lifter. And this is what happens when you chronically lift. You accelerate aging. This is crazy, man.
Right? Why is that? Because the size of my rib cage and my lats.
The size of your rib cage and your lats? Your lats? You have no lats. What are you talking about? We've never seen you pose. Look, Blaha, if you're so good, next time when you do those dumbbell, whatever, curls in your garage under that beautiful lighting, can you pose for us? Pose. Do a double bicep pose, okay? And do one from behind. Do one from the front and behind. Why doesn't your coach ever pose? He is doing bodybuilding now, isn't he? Let's see really that's how you know what a person really looks like when they pose. Then you could assess. I can't assess anything. He's just standing straight up, down. Everybody looks good that way. But the thing is, he's got to wear a shirt called deadlift on it when he walks down the street because you'd never know he deadlifted.
So when I stand relaxed, it looks like the inflated lat syndrome. And people have noted that over the years.
Stand relaxed. That looks like the inflated lat syndrome. Man, you look like you have kyphosis from the back, okay? What are you talking about?
Some people do. It's just the way my structure of my torso width is. The only way to get them down, if when they're at the sides, is to exhale all my air. So, of course, my curls and other stuff, there's going to be some flares. Nothing you can do about it. But one of the really, really jacked and strong lifters, one of the guys who's bitching almost 500 in my comments, the Buffalo, he chimed in and he's like, do people really and truly think that elbow flare versus your elbow position like that really is what's going to determine bicep stimulation? Yeah, people are silly. But, it brings up the whole topic of loose form versus strict form for hypertrophy purposes and bodybuilders. And, what's interesting, what people have to realize when you go look at bodybuilders through history, bodybuilders found their own form that gave them the best pump and activation of things, most of the champions.
The best form of the best. Here we go again with the pump. You're going to get the pump. You think protein gives you a pump? Hell no, man. Only glycogen does, bro. These people are all chasing sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Fake muscle.
If you go watch something as simple as barbell and dumbbell curls, go find the various Mr. Olympias doing curls. There are videos of.
I've seen all the Olympias and all these phony people on steroids doing their pump training, okay? Their phony sarcoplasmic muscle training, okay? That's why when they go off the drugs, they shrink like a motherfucker so fast. Why? If you build myofibrillar growth, which you have already on your body, you're born with a set of myofibrillars. Notice how you don't shrink. You walk down the street, you look like a regular person, right? That's your real muscle, right? If you have real muscle, is it just going to shrink away? Maybe if you starve yourself in a camp or something, I don't know. You know what I mean? But it's not just going to go away, okay? And even if you starve yourself, it ain't going to just go away so fast. Not even in 30 days. So you think that when they go off these drugs, if they actually build real muscle, then where is it? Where did it go? See, here's the thing. I'll explain this. If steroids could actually build real muscle, then everybody would be doing it. All they would have to do is take a little bit of steroids, go to a gym, and they could build some myofibrillar growth. Get it? And then they don't have to take the drugs again because they build real tissue, real myofibrillars. But guess what? None of you are. That's why it's all going away. My gains are going. I went on vacation. My gains. I lost 10, 20 pounds on vacation. Yeah. What did you lose exactly? You can't lose myofibrillar growth 10, 20 pounds, okay, on vacation. I'm sorry, man. It doesn't work that way.
All of it. They all have completely different styles. Okay? And as far as the only ones I can think of who do the slower eccentrics and squeeze and everything is Phil Heath. Okay?
Doesn't matter what kind of styles they do, man. It's all the same things. Drawing glycogen in the muscle.
Talking about bodybuilding. People never thought this would happen. Like power.
You know, he loves bodybuilding now all of a sudden. Remember how he was so against the gay for pay and all this, shouting and screaming and yelling about bodybuilding?
Lifting channel. But no, realistically, he's the only one I really can think of. I'd have to go look at what Dorian did because I don't look.
See, he can't stop talking about all these bodybuilders. You want to know why? Because fucking powerlifting is so boring. It's shit. And bodybuilding is exciting because they lift, they pose, they do a bunch of stuff, man. It's much more exciting. It's boring, man. I know. You want to be strong, lift a heavy weight off the floor. We're one PR. But to tell you the truth, man, it's fucking boring, bro. It doesn't matter. Bodybuilders live just as heavy for reps and whatever, and it's a much more exciting sport because it just is. It's more exciting because there's aesthetics. You could get these skinny guys. They could do aesthetics, and then you get the open bodybuilders, and then you get the classic, and then you get the board shorts, this, that, whatever. Just the whole thing is just more exciting because it's a vary of everything. It's a vary of strength training. It's a vary of different bodies and things. So it's just much more entertaining. That's why he's shifted towards that more on his channel.
All right, look at Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Franco Columbo. There's 4.
Yeah, they're goddamn exciting. That's why you remember all of them. When's the last guy? Who's the last person you remember in powerlifting? You remember any names? No. You want to know why? Because it's such a boring ass sport, bro. That's why you could remember everybody in bodybuilding, but you don't even remember the last guy who set a record in powerlifting. Get it, man? Because it's shit. It's something like, how should I put it? Sprinting versus marathon running. Do you remember the last guy who won the marathon? Fucking no, absolutely not. But you do remember the fastest man in the world, Mr. Bolt.
Watch them curl. Watch them do the variety of different curls. They do a lot of swinging, a lot of cheating, a lot of really fast eccentrics. Anybody note this? All these guys have massive biceps.
Yeah, you can move really fast if you want. You move fast to draw more glycogen in there. When it comes to muscle damage, you're moving fast because you're trying to bust the type 2, since they are fast twitch muscle fibers. That's what you're trying to hit. See, if you move slowly in a gym, which all of you already are endurance athletes, that's type 2 because it's sitting in type 2. But you moving very slow is type 2. But if you're trying to move for busting that was type 1. If you try to move to bust type 2, you have to move extremely fast.
Okay, I gave you 4 and then named a 5th one who does the opposite. They all were Mr. Olympias. They all have massive biceps.
More Lotto 649 jackpots are being won.
Biceps.
They all have massive biceps because they draw more glycogen in the muscle. It's being held in there by the testosterone.
Did anyone maybe factor in? And again, I know people say drugs and genetics. Of course, those are factors. No one gets Mr. Olympia biceps without great bicep genetics. Here's the point.
He makes it sound like these drugs are miracle drugs. They're not miracle drugs, man. They're cosmetics.
I think people are missing with all this. People understand that tension is tension. In other words, a muscle doesn't fully care how you get to the fatigue as long as it is contracting and
Yeah, that's it. Let's fatigue that muscle. Okay.
moving through certain joint angles.
As an endurance athlete, let's fatigue it.
Okay. Moving to be the primary mover, and it reaches fatigue first.
He makes it sound as if he knows something. He doesn't know anything, man. He's just too stupid.
This makes sense. It cares about the. It's irrelevant. But you do realize when you swing and cheat a little bit, put a little bit of English on a movement, the eccentric is heavier. People.
If you swing, why are you swinging? Why are you cheating? You're not damaging muscles in there anymore, man.
We're like, yeah, but chin-up is still a good bicep exercise. Okay. There's an eccentric overload.
There's an eccentric overload. Oh, there's an eccentric overload. What the fuck? What the hell's he talking about?
I want to talk about the importance of eccentric loading, but that is a perfect example of creating
eccentric loading. Eccentric loading. This eccentric is the best part, the lengthening part for muscle damage. I don't know about this glycogen pumping sarcoplasmic. No, it's based on volume. You want to do more volume, that's all. Doesn't matter how you do it. Short range, long range. As long as you pump those glycogen, those arms up.
Larger eccentric overload.
Eccentric overload? What the fuck is he talking about?
Guess what is better for the other, long range of motion, it's probably a pretty good technique for your goals, for you personally, as long as it's not creating injury.
Wow, this coach, he's so stupid. Long range is good for you as long as it doesn't create an injury. Why if you're injuring yourself or getting these sarcoplasmic muscles, you gotta be retarded. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, friends. Don't you think about that? Like, subscribe, comment down below. This is your coach. Yes, the coach. What a coach, bro. See you in the next one. Ciao.